I'd like to welcome everybody to our Zoom presentation today. And today I've got two very special guests. I'm super excited about today's call. First, we're going to go to Michigan, where farmer John is available. And he's going to quickly tell us his story. And then you're going to hear from our special guest, Versile Shaw. So, John, quickly share with us your story about Isagenix and your life.
Well, thank you much for allowing me to share my story today. I'm been in the farming occupation for over 50 years. I spent 25 years at night to help support the farming operation in research and development in the automotive field until I was taken out of that occupation by an explosion, which I ended up pretty seriously hurting myself. And after doing 2.5 to 3 years of rehabilitation on that, I was shown the door from my night job, which was my pension, my health insurance, my life insurance, and everything. My world came to an end. So I tried to pick myself back up and find some things from home to do, 2 or 3 from home businesses. And a couple years later, I got into doing infomercials on TV for health and wellness products, which that is not a very lucrative business model. And not long after that, I had to sell my farms, my equipment, and ended up losing my house and my wife and children. So things didn't go real well. So I kept working on farms and stuff until about 2016. I started really getting tired. My body was breaking down. My muscles weren't doing real well. And I basically was at 62 was done, I thought. And so I started my Social Security early, and I thought, oh boy, this is going to be a challenge. $400 a week for the rest of my life, this isn't going to cut it. So I was still looking for that magic pill to pull me out and get me some income to take care of myself for the rest of my life. And that came in 2017. I was introduced to this product line, and within 4 days, things that I couldn't do, I was starting to do again. I wasn't able to get up off the ground. I was trying to change the tires on my truck. I couldn't even get the jack back from underneath the truck because I just didn't have the strength, and my shoulders were so tight and in pain. But after 4 days, things started really changing, loosened up, and today I'm back doing things that I could do easily 8, 10 years ago. So this has been a real change for me. And I can't thank Chuck Williams enough for introducing me to this product line. My future looks really great. I now have the health that I have always wanted at age 65. My income is improving every month. And what more could a guy ask for? Is health and a wealth that is able to be generated for the rest of your life. I really appreciate Chuck, and together we can really change a lot of lives, because I now know that there's nothing that's impossible with this line of nutritional products. Thank you much.
Farmer John, thank you for being transparent and vulnerable with us. That is a heartfelt story. And love the cat in the background. A nice side effect there. So we appreciate you sharing. So, ladies and gentlemen, I now want to introduce you to our keynote speaker today. It's Versile Shaw, good friend of mine. I'll let him tell his own story in his own words, but I've grown to really respect him and his wife. He comes with a very unique perspective, and I think you're going to enjoy hearing his story. So, Versile, take it away, my friend.
Well, first of all, thanks, Chuck, for that warm introduction and, allowing me to be on the call. It's really always, every time I hear Farmer John really explain and his story, it's really, it's amazing, for one, where he's come from, but also how these products have really impacted his life and his everyday well-being. So, a little bit about me. My name is Versile Shaw. I played professional basketball for 13 years. During that time, I was, some of those years actually was spent over in Europe. I played in France as well. Played with a couple of guys from the UK who were on the UK national team. And so they were real good friends of mine. They've also kind of transitioned to the health wellness arena as personal trainers and coaches and other things over there in the UK. So hopefully I'll be reaching out to some of those guys to get in touch with some of our UK teams. So you guys be on the lookout for that. But as I was saying, I played professional basketball for 13 years. And while I was playing, my family and I acquired a global nutraceutical company. It was actually sold in the UK as well, under a different name, but it was actually sold there as well. And we sold that company in 2003 for some reasons that, we just didn't think kind of fit our lifestyle. Lifestyle changes and, things happen. So we decided to move on. It was a very lucrative company, very well known. I choose not to say the name just because of legal reasons. I don't want to get, in trouble for disclosing the name of the company. But I'm sure Chuck, at some point when you guys are, not recording, he'll be more than happy to let you guys know what that company was. But as I was, winding down in my professional career in basketball, I was looking for other things to do. I'd always been fond of nutrition and working out and just a healthy lifestyle. So in 2014, I decided to embark on creating my own supplement company, and here in the United States. And I had a group of investors that were along on the ride with me, and we decided to, start creating products. So we had pre-workout supplements, we had protein, and we also had branched chain amino acids, or what we would have in our nitro here in the US, which is it's a similar kind of substance that kind of, gets your muscles and your body primed for our workouts. So anyway, jumping forward a little bit, I kind of was suspecting some things. We were getting, fairly decent results, but people were putting on a lot of extra pounds and additional pounds. But at the time, everybody wanted to put on some size and, get bigger and have leaner muscles. So, we didn't think anything of it. And I happened to be watching a TV show one day, having some spa stuff done. And Dr. Phil was on, and he came on this show, and he immediately went on and said, this show is going to blow some people away. And so what he did was he did a breakdown of essentially of, good supplementation or good supplement products and bad supplement products. And what I found was that, sometimes, people are unaware, but sometimes products can have everything from lead in them to arsenic to, false claims that's on the bottle. So it immediately freaked me out. So I went to my investors and I said to them, I'm like, guys, we need to have our stuff third party tested or independently tested by a different lab. And so they gave me some pushback, but after some deliberation, they decided to, go forward with the testing of our protein. And when we got the results back, it was unbelievable. It was really heartbreaking and very discouraging. And so, we were claiming like 36 to 40 grams of protein. It had like 7. We were claiming, little to no sugar, but the sugars were close to 30 grams, which is unheard of. So it was basically we had garbage. And when I was telling my partners that we should kind of, look at reformulating the product, they said, no, we can just change our marketing and sell it to high school kids and college kids. That didn't sit very well with me. So I withdrew from the partnership and was kind of just going about my life. I had been retired for a number of years at this point and, just raising my kids and going about my everyday due diligence. And, a good buddy of mine, Chuck Williams, walked in and gave me a phone call one day and said, hey, Vee, I have something you may want to take a look at. Now, I had been knowing Chuck for a number of years, almost 10 years to be exact. And he kind of just, said, Vee, you may want to check it out. I was a little hesitant, but it was Chuck, a good friend of mine. I was like, okay, let's do it. So I met with Chuck and he was telling me about Isagenix. And that was my first introduction. I'd never heard of the company before, which is unheard of when you really think that this company's been around for almost 16 years. But, Chuck was like, yeah, Isagenix. So I started doing some research. I had some of the scientists from the company that we had previously owned. I had them look into Isagenix as well. And everyone was just coming back with like these phenomenal results and saying like, from what we can tell, from what we're seeing, this product is, You know, for one, a lot of the stuff in their line is cutting edge, and also we can't really find any negatives in what they're selling and what they're promoting. And so that gave my wife and I some confidence to really try the products and get them in our systems. And immediately, my wife, it wasn't that necessarily the weight that she was releasing, but I could definitely tell like her energy level had increased. She was feeling good, and she had this glow and a smile about herself that she didn't have, you know, post kids. And so that to me was, I'm like, okay, we need to get more of this stuff. And so, you know, I started experimenting a little bit with the performance line, which helped me in a short period of time gain probably, I would say, 6 to 7 kilos in a short period of time, which was phenomenal. And, you know, I haven't looked back, you know, and, you know, a lot of times, you know, Chuck, I'll get Chuck in here in a second, but a lot of times, you know, we get taken aback by get blown away essentially by how wonderful these products are. But in the same note, this compensation plan and the business plan that Isagenix has put together is state of the art, top to bottom, incredible. And for me, being a former professional athlete, a lot of times we go for things that are tangible, things that, you know, we can, you know, may have to invest a lot of money in and hope to get some return on that. You know, you know, you dump thousands of dollars into something and you hope you're able to see that money return. And unfortunately, you know, a lot of cases that doesn't happen. Some statistics in the US show that probably 7 to 8 years after a professional basketball player retires, about 85 to 87 or 89% of those guys are bankrupt. Think about that. These guys make millions of dollars, and at the end of the day, when they retire from basketball, a few short years after they retire, they're bankrupt. And, you know, people say, well, how is that possible? Well, the reality of it is they live like everyone else. They live sometimes check to check, but just on a larger scale, you know, and so they eat through a lot of money. And so my personal goal is to impact as many people as I can through health and nutrition, get people healthy, but to also help former and current athletes really understand the power of residual income and the power that Isagenix possesses. So that's my story, and I'll turn it over to Chuck. I'm sure he may have some questions for me, but pleasure being on the call with you guys.
Yeah, great job, Versile. Outstanding. I just want to cover a few key points. You know, when you really analyze a business, and you bring a perspective that I don't think hardly anybody in the world can bring besides yourself, having been part of a large global nutraceutical company and having owned your own startup nutraceutical company, you bring a very unique perspective when you're talking about the company. So when you talk about Isagenix, you're looking at a 16-year-old company. Our birthday is actually this week, 16 years old, $6 billion in sales. We're in 15 markets, getting ready to expand into 3 more this year. So the international expansion is really just getting started. The foundation's in place. We're debt-free. We're profitable. We have a very strong corporate team, and our founders understand both the health and nutrition side of the business, but they also understand the network marketing side of the business. So we don't have people that haven't run large companies before running our company. So from your perspective, and just talking about the company now, what is your feeling about the company itself?
Just in short, like when you're really analyzing a company, and for me, going through the large scale global business that my family had to a much smaller scale that I tried to create with my supplement company to now Isagenix, there's some major differences. If you look at the capital that's involved or necessary to, for one, do a global, have a company that reaches multiple countries, I mean, think that those numbers are unfathomable. You can't even think about how much money and how many resources you need to pull together, not only from a monetary standpoint, but from also logistically. You have to think about logistics, being able to get products and set up distribution centers in all those different countries. You have to, and each country is different. Each country presents its own unique problems in terms of what products are marketable. Even a name can be unacceptable in a certain country. So you have legal fees that just amount. So on a global scale, it's unfathomable to really think about what it takes to really get a global company off the ground. And I'll piggyback and circle back with how Isagenix does it in a minute. But on the smaller scale, with my own supplement line, what we found was that, you know, although you may think you have control, when you're outsourcing stuff to other labs and other places, once it gets to you, the quality changes, right? So you may think, okay, we have the greatest thing on earth, and you may have the best marketing in the world, but if your product isn't doing the consumer any justice, then you're really behind the 8 ball. You're really putting yourself at a disadvantage. And so that brings me to Isagenix. So I just gave you 2 descriptions of a large-scale global company and what we had, which was a lot smaller. But what Isagenix has done is unbelievable. They have taken a global business that hasn't even really scratched the surface of its potential and set up distributions. What they do is they set up distribution centers in each of those countries that they go into. They hire GM, they do all the legal, they do all the heavy lifting for us as associates. So when we decide to build a business, we don't have all those upfront expenses. All we have to do is just plug and play. We go in, we start sharing, and everything's already in place for us. We don't have to worry about how we're going to get the product from the distribution center to the consumer. They have everything in place. So that's a phenomenal thing that the company has done. And from just the quality standpoint, Isagenix has over 50 full-time scientists and formulators on staff that are constantly checking and rechecking and making sure that the products that the ingredients that we say are in the products are of the highest quality, and that when it goes from the manufacturer to the distribution to the consumer, that the quality doesn't change. And again, that's unheard of given my experiences with a large company and a small company. So Isagenix does it right from top to bottom.
Excellent. I knew you had knocked out of the ballpark. I got 4 more categories to cover. But before I get off the company, I do want to mention that as far as being an employee versus owning your own business like you can with Isagenix, even though it's a 1099 situation, instead of being the founders and owners like the Coovers and John Anderson and family, we still have business ownership here. So there's some huge tax advantages to people like ourselves from a home-based business. Again, I don't want to go into big details there. Get with your CPA if you're listening to this presentation. But there are some huge tax advantages to owning your own business. So let's move into the product. You hit on it a little bit, but the efficacy of this product, the no compromise guarantee, you don't have to go through product by product, but just overall, what from a professional athlete standpoint, you mentioned gaining 6 to 7 kilos, and it's kind of funny because most people think of Isagenix as a weight loss company, and it's really not a weight loss company. That's just one of the byproducts for people that need to lose weight. In your case, you want to gain lean muscle, so you use the same exact products to gain muscle. Can you kind of give us the full spectrum on gaining weight, losing weight, but more importantly, the nutrition that's available here with Isagenix?
Yeah, sure, Chuck. So here's the deal. It's really simple. I look at Isagenix as an everything company. Mm-hmm. I mean, whatever you want, Isagenix, whatever you want out of health and nutrition and healthy aging, Isagenix offers it to you. So if you want to lose some weight, we have that capability. If you want to gain some lean muscle, we can help you with that. If you want to increase the glow, or my wife is now into the skincare products. So if you want that, we offer that to you as well. And you know, if you want to do all those and create some money, we have that capability as well. So that's what I'm saying. It covers the whole gamut of someone's lifestyle, what they would think of as Chuck likes to say, the ideal life. We have the ability to create that for you while helping you to also feel good and be the best you can be. But from a product standpoint, I mean, they just don't cut any corners. I'm not sure if you guys in UK experienced what we experienced here, but I'm assuming that you did in terms of the dairy-free shakes. You know, they didn't want to cut any corners. They said these ingredients are not meeting our standards, so we would rather just pull it off until we can correct it 100%, take the loss, and then when the product is ready and meeting our standards, we'll put it back on the market. So the no compromise, I don't really think people understand how seriously Isagenix takes that. I mean, that's I mean, just to think of a company pulling that product off. Actually, they pulled 2 products off because they were having some issues with the supply chain. And just to say that they did that and didn't insert some, you know, lackluster ingredient, that's huge. So really, when you guys are out talking to people that may want to try Isagenix or get into the business, that's a key factor that I think we need to really push a little harder on, because I don't think a lot of people understand that it's extremely important that a company has some integrity.
Excellent job. Now let's talk about the compensation plan a little bit, and I want you to touch on the residual income aspect. But I think this is a good time to share my story. My name's Chuck Williams. My background's corporate America. Unlike Vee owning companies, I worked for other people that own companies. So I ran businesses for other people. From the age of 24, I've been the general manager of other people's businesses, running their business profitably, taking care of the budgeting and sales, every aspect of it, hiring, every aspect I ran as a general manager. There's a great deal of stress as a young man. 24 years old, run a plant, and then throughout the next 20 years in corporate America, traveling, being away from my family, never really having control of my own destiny, having a ceiling as far as much as I could earn. So when I got introduced to the network marketing industry, I was very, very excited about the opportunity that it afforded me. And now that I found Isagenix, I've got the best of both worlds. Literally, I'm in the best physical shape I've been in 30 years. I look back at my college football days, and I was by no means a star or anything. It was a small NAI Division II school. However, I was athletic, and I was working out, and I am as in good of shape today as I was back then. Now, I didn't get involved in lifting weights and exercising when I first got involved in Isagenix. I got in, I was kind of the poster child for not exercising. I literally shed, let me try to be as good as you here, about 10 or 11 kilos. That's about 22 pounds, I think. So we can do the math later and see if I'm right. But I released that weight, and I released it without exercising. And then I was kind of a no belly, which I really liked. I thought that was cool. But then I saw a guy at 61 years old who's about 4 or 5 years older than me, on stage at the Ice Body Challenge, and he'd gone from like my body had got to with no belly, which I thought was looking pretty good actually, to this guy looked ripped. He looked like he really had a physical built body. I'm like, holy cow! At 61, he made that kind of transformation, and he inspired me to go for it. So I came home. I got with my coach Stan Yago, who's a personal friend of me and myself, and Stan gave me a workout plan, a meal plan, and the meal plan included my Isagenix products. Gave me a lot of my protein I needed. Didn't have the nitro back then, but that's taking my whole workout program to a whole nother level. I used to just have the power. Now I got the nitro, and it has put my workout plan on nitro, let me tell you. And then the hydrate that I drink as I'm working out, so I'm able to stay energized and strong throughout my workout. And then when I get home, I take the recovery. And my wife and I, we joke around about this because we worked out in the past a long time ago. And you get so sore at our age, you'd be sore for 2 days until it's time to work out again. We take this recovery at night, and we don't have any of the bad side effects of working out. It's amazing. So I have grown to where I crave good nutrition. I actually crave exercise now, and I am more excited about my future today than I've been in my entire life. I have a vehicle to help people with both their health and their wealth. So that's my story, and I want to tell you a little bit about this compensation plan. I've been the #1 incomer with 4 small network marketing companies. I've seen just about every type of compensation plan. The unilevel, the stair-step breakaway, you name it, I've pretty much seen it. I have never seen a compensation plan as fair as the Isagenix compensation plan. In fact, the more I learn about it, the more ways I earn money from it, the more I sit back and scratch my head and say, the person or people who developed this were absolutely genius, because you get rewarded for helping other people. That's basically what you get rewarded for doing. For moving the product, obviously, create new customers, but then as you help people succeed in your business, they reward you. And there's all kinds of bonuses. This call is not a compensation call. We're not going to go into any of the details, other than to tell you that I've seen just about everything out there, and I've really never seen anything that even comes close to the compensation plan here with Isagenix. If you just want to get your products paid for, we can show you how to do that very, very easily. You share, they share, your products will get paid for. If you want to make a lot of money, Herb and Patty Cepeda, our mentors, have earned over $20 million with this company in a little over 10 years. One of the ladies on her team has been in this business just a little over 5 years. She's earned over $5 million. Now, those numbers may be so big, you're like, I can't believe it. Well, that's okay. It's true, or I wouldn't say it, but you don't have to believe it. If you only want to earn $100,000 a year, we can help you do that. We have a plan, literally, it's in Herb and Patty Cepeda's team site. It's called $5,000 in 5 weeks. If that's something of interest to you, you just put your calendar down, you go to work, and literally, I did it. It can be done. Now, it's not something everybody does. So don't get me wrong. There's no guarantees. There's no magic pill here. You got to go to work. But if you're willing to share and help other people, you can make a significant income with Isagenix. So I just want you to touch on the residual income aspect, because I know that really has been a key for you. And then bring it back to me. We'll wrap it up here.
Well, thanks again, Chuck. You know, a lot of times, you know, the residual income, when you really think about it, it's really phenomenal. One of the ladies Chuck was just talking about, it's funny because on one of the calls we had here in the U.S. A few weeks ago, she was on that call, and she actually said, you know, as she was wrapping up, she like, you know, when, you know, ending this call, when I go to sleep tonight, when I wake up tomorrow morning, I would have earned, you know, some astronomical amount of money just while she was sleeping, you know, because of work she had already, the foundation she had already put in place, the work she had already done, you know. And when I was playing ball and really doing things, we used to have these things. It was called mailbox checks. Mm-hmm. And people say, what is a mailbox check? Well, it's a check that you just don't expect, that just shows up for something that you did a long time ago. And actors and actresses, they get those all the time for maybe some sitcom or commercial they may have done that may be airing in a different country or somewhere else throughout the world. But they'll just get a check in their mailbox or deposit into their account, and they're like, oh, this is, so it's basically what that is residual. It's something that they did work for a long time ago, but they're still getting paid on it. Well, ICE takes that to the next level. They allow you to be able to not only do stuff from years ago, but the stuff that you do now, and even the seeds that you may plant in the future. Once those harvest, it just creates this unstoppable income. And so I think it's the perfect storm, and it really allows people to live the lives they've always dreamed of, whether it's one cycle or 2 cycles a week or 3 cycles a week. When you add that up over the course of a month, that may be somebody's chance to pay a car note or a light bill or a cell phone bill. And it's something that you've done from your cell phone or your computer with little or no effort. And it's really powerful. So this company and this compensation plan, you want to get out of it what you put into it. But let me just say, put something into it, because there's so much that you can get out of it. So that's basically my little tidbit on residual income. I mean, it's a phenomenal tool. Isagenix gives you everything you need to be successful. You just got to utilize it. Use the resources that they put in place. Use Chuck. Use your upline. Use whatever you can, but really don't miss this opportunity to create the ideal lifestyle that you want. So back to you, Chuck. Again, thank you guys for listening in. I truly appreciate being on, and hopefully, well, we'll be over in Europe coming up soon. So maybe I'll pop over to the UK and harass some of you guys while I'm over there. So again, thank you guys for listening in, and back to Chuck. Thank you.
Thank you. I was trying to find the exact amount she said, because I thought it was very interesting too in my notes. I didn't want to misquote, but I know she earns over $1 million a year residual. So you can break it down, divide by 365 days. But let me wrap up with these 2 points here. In evaluating a company, there's 2 more things you need to evaluate. Is the system and support in place? Or do you have to bring it and develop it yourself? And in previous companies, when I become the #1 income earner in those other companies, I had to develop my own system. I had to rely on a company support. At Isagenix, the support is second to none. The corporate support is awesome. In fact, they got a random selection of interviews they do afterwards, surveys, where they're constantly wanting feedback on the support of their staff. And it is excellent. As good as anything I've ever seen in my 20+ years in the industry. As far as the system goes, both Isagenix and Herb & Petty Cepeda have a foolproof system. Both companies have already been very, very successful. And so the system is as good, if not better, than anything you will find in the network marketing industry. I promise you. And then last but not least is timing. Are you getting into a company that's already seen its best days and you're looking in the rearview mirror, or are you looking at a company that's just on the foundation of a massive wave of momentum? I will tell you that based on my experience, This company, Isagenix, has laid the foundation to become the golden standard in the network marketing industry, literally surpassing the #1 company, which is Amway right now, doing about $8.8 billion a year. Now, we haven't even done our first billion year. We just missed last year. And I'm projecting right now that we will soon pass Amway as the #1 direct selling company in the world. How can I make such a prediction? Well, the vision of our company founders is not to pass Amway. They don't even consider them competition. What they're looking at is the health and wellness industry, and they're looking at Johnson & Johnson, $80 billion a year. That's where they've got their sights set. So I'm very confident in a very short period of time, we will become the largest, most successful network marketing company in the world. Why? Because we have a passion to help other people like no other company I've ever seen. And we've got the products. Every one of the 5 categories we just covered are essential. We have a call every Saturday. Get back with the person who invites you to this call. On that Saturday call, Kwang Soo Shin talks about international expansion and how that can play a huge part in your future business and your future wealth. So, Farmer John, I want to thank you for your introduction in the beginning. Versile Shaw, thank you for sharing your story. I know, and I know you and Renee know, you guys are going to be superstars in this company. You got a great heart. You love helping other people, and you found the vehicle to fulfill your passion of mentoring others, coaching others, and making an impact on the lives of other people. And we are so happy to have you on the team. So God bless you. Thank you for your job today. And everybody get back with the person who invites you and come join the team. All you do is become a customer, and then you decide what you want to do from there. All right, everybody. God bless.
See you later.